From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 7, streaming now.
We begin tonight with the latest on the coronavirus and its impact on Indiana. Thank you for joining us at 7. I'm Amanda Starantino.
And I'm Mark Mullins. The Indiana State Department of Health reports 6,143 new coronavirus cases. 60 more Hoosiers died with COVID-19, bringing the total number of deaths to 4,830. Since March, more than 268,000 Hoosiers have tested positive for the virus. More than 3.6 million tests have been administered in our state. WRTV Investigates has uncovered COVID-19 testing sites and labs are experiencing delays and backups. And some of the state's Optum testing sites will not allow you to book an appointment until several days out. And the results are taking up to 6 days. On top of that, some places will not test you unless you have symptoms. WRTV asked the state health commissioner, who admitted the labs are having a hard time keeping up with the 60,000 tests a day.
Optum sites are still testing asymptomatic individuals, and we still encourage people, especially people that are close contacts, especially people that work in long-term care facilities or other areas, hospitals, or live with someone who would be at risk, to go ahead and get tested. But yes, our turnaround times are running longer than we want, so we're working on all of these other avenues to try to bring that turnaround time down.
Dr. Bach says the state is looking at increasing the number of labs in Indiana, but says some labs are experiencing shortages of supplies.
There are high hopes after the recent announcements of 2 successful COVID-19 vaccines. While health officials are hopeful, many are cautioning that vaccines do not mean that life will go back to normal overnight. Our Cornelius Hawker is getting answers to some of your questions.
Within days of each other, Pfizer and Moderna announcing COVID-19 vaccines with a 90 and 94.5% effective rate. But doctors caution this isn't going to take all our worries away yet.
It's going to take time, first of all. We're looking at months. Certainly everybody's not going to get it to start. Your average citizen watching home from TV, unless they are, in a very high-risk population.
Emergency Department Dr. Stephen Samples says more companies are going to have to produce effective vaccines to meet demand around the world, especially since both of the successful vaccines require 2 doses.
If you think about it, 7 billion doses times 2, so 14 billion doses of drug. So the Pfizer and the Moderna, we're hoping that others come right up behind them and start churning out doses as well.
Some have questioned if these vaccines are safe, considering the timeline under which they have been made. Dr. Sample says the answer is yes, because they were produced using messenger RNA, tiny snippets of genetic code that tell cells to build proteins and are the key to unleash the immune system.
Your cell's own machinery are going to pump out the protein that this mRNA codes for. And then after that happens, your body recognizes it and then stimulates your immune response.
As far as how we get the vaccine out to communities, it's going to be a huge effort considering the cold storage and shipping needed. Dr. Sample says there's only one group of people he thinks could handle it.
I think that you're going to see a lot of National Guard members, popping up clinics and stuff like that. That's just, I feel like that is a very efficient government way to distribute something. They just call up the soldiers because there are medics and doctors and nurses scattered all through.
You're still urged to wear a mask and follow all the COVID-19 safety guidelines, especially now and the months ahead.
We've got a really rough winter to get through, and these vaccines are not going to be a factor now. Not for Thanksgiving, not for Christmas, not for anything that we want to do over the next few months. This is all still up to us for now.
Working for you, Cornelius Hawker, WRTV.
Some people have asked if the COVID-19 vaccine could be available in the form of a nasal spray. Dr. Sample says that is not likely given how delicate the vaccine is and the special circumstances under which it needs to be stored until it's administered. And as more people are infected with and recover from COVID-19, some are experiencing lingering symptoms. IU Health opened the ICU Survivor Center back in June to help COVID-19 survivors who were experiencing long-term health issues. About 60% of patients they've seen complain about quality of life problems months after having coronavirus. 40% are still experiencing fatigue and stamina issues, and many patients are also developing mental health problems like new depression, new anxiety, or PTSD symptoms. Some are also having trouble with memory and thinking. Some younger patients are also experiencing hair loss.
It may take, for some patients, months, but for some patients, years, if they're ever able to recover to the level of independence they had before they got critically ill.
Doctors say some symptoms will eventually go away, but others, like scarring on the lungs, will be a lifelong challenge for some.
Well, time for your WRTV forecast, and it was nice to see that sunshine today, along with some calmer conditions. That wind was not whipping up as bad as it's been the last couple of days, Kyle.
Yeah, we got a little break in that today, Mark, but they are going to be whipping again tomorrow. We've got temperatures out there that made their way into the 50s this afternoon, sitting at 43 right now downtown and Martinsville, 44 in Tipton. Columbus coming in at 41 degrees, but I don't think those temperatures are going to move too far from where they are right now because of this. That south wind already around 10 to 15 miles per hour. Even in the Kokomo area, your wind out of the south at 20 miles per hour. Tomorrow at 10 a.m., we've got a wind advisory that's going to cover much of central Indiana here. That's when we're expecting those gusts to get over 40 miles per hour. But for now, only about 20 to 30 mile per hour gusts will do it. Very quiet weather. That continues, though. You notice there's a mass of clouds off to the north and northwest. While we'll see a few of those filtering in, I still think we'll stay mostly sunny as we go into the day tomorrow. This evening, there are those steady temperatures with those gusty winds. We'll talk about the warmth they will bring and what it means for the upcoming weekend in a few minutes.
Well, the pandemic has put a strain on the Hoosier pocketbooks and pantries, and that's why the Midwest Food held their first of two major food distribution events today. This was the scene at the Kroger Distribution Center on Kopetsky Drive. Midwest Food Bank distributed truckloads of highly nutritious staple food items to pre-selected pantries across central Indiana.
We believe that people need more than food, they need hope. And so our goal is to, through the holiday season right now, is to give people hope. One way we do that is to distribute food to them at no cost. We do that because our faith compels us to do so.
There's another food distribution event on December 8th from 8:30 to noon at the Kopetsky Drive facility. Organizers say the need for volunteers is high. In fact, they had half the volunteers needed for today's event. Contact Midwest Food Bank if you'd like to help out at the next distribution.
Coming up, how a new program is helping give parents a voice when it comes to their children's education. There's no doubt this school year has been frustrating for parents. Overseeing at home learning can turn into a full-time job, and it's hard to know where to turn when issues arise. That's where a new nonprofit hopes to step in with a program that can ease communication between parents and schools to make sure students are getting the education they need. WRTV's Cameron Riddle shows you how it works.
Being a parent is no easy task, and being a parent of a school-aged child is harder today than ever before, thanks to the coronavirus pandemic.
Technology, obviously, is on a whole nother level now. There's a digital divide. There's so many obstacles.
Overcoming those obstacles is the goal of a new nonprofit organization called Empowered Families. Ante Johnson is the program's executive director and says the goal is to make sure parents and school leaders are not only hearing each other, but understanding each other so students can have everything they need to learn.
There are moments when parents are frustrated because, listen, they're at their bandwidth may not be what it should be because they're working 2 or 3 jobs, right? Single mom trying to make things happen.
Claire Pope knows how complicated a school system can be. She's a mother, grandmother, and a heavily involved grassroots organizer on Indy's East Side. That's why she's among 8 local community leaders selected by Empowered Families to serve as community liaisons between area parents and schools. Her task is to be the voice for parents and make sure Indianapolis school districts are talking with parents before making big decisions like changing curriculums or even closing schools.
If the parents are already running behind with understanding how the school system is operating, and then you turn around and changes are being made through one entity or another, then all that does is multiply the problem.
In a time where just about everyone is apart, but still working to move forward, there is an added push to make sure families and children aren't left behind.
I can be that medium, that person in the middle to make or bridge to help clear any inconsistencies between what the families are trying to say and what the schools are hearing.
Cameron Riddle, WRTV.
And parents of any school district who feel like their concerns are not being heard can contact the Empowered Families team at their website. You can find more information at WRTV.com.
Those temperatures just starting to warm up as we're going to enjoy those highs in the 60s, but we're already tracking another cool down when we'll see those numbers returning to highs in the 40s. You're watching WRTV News at 7. Children in the U.S. are on track to miss about 9 million routine vaccinations by the end of the year. Blue Cross Blue Shield released data indicating 26% fewer kids were given routine immunizations compared to last year. 40% of parents and legal guardians said the pandemic made them miss routine vaccinations for their children. Blue Cross officials say the interruption of vaccine schedules puts the U.S. on the edge of a severe immunization crisis among children. They say if the trend continues, the threat of widespread outbreaks of diseases like polio, measles, and whooping cough would increase. The CDC and other health agencies recommend avoiding large gatherings this Thanksgiving to prevent the spread of COVID-19. However, if you do choose to celebrate in person, Amber Strong with our partners at Newsy tells us there are ways you can improve safety.
First, the bad news. If you were planning to quarantine in order to travel for Thanksgiving Day, you've missed the 14-day mark. The good news is experts say there are still ways to safely celebrate the holiday at home.
As we approach the Thanksgiving holidays, we're all thinking about how we can get together and try and feel normal.
When it comes to Thanksgiving, the experts say celebrating virtually or with your immediate household is best. Bottom line. However, the CDC has put together guidelines for those who choose to gather in person, including hosting the gathering outdoors, avoiding potlucks, encouraging guests to bring food for themselves, avoiding shared items like condiment bottles, and requiring masks for all attendees. Infectious disease experts say the guidelines don't eliminate the risk.
As you take that mask off and talk and eat or drink at the same time, there will still be risk that will occur during that period for the spray of aerosols or droplets.
Ultimately, social distancing this holiday is the safest measure.
The next best bet after a virtual gathering is to do the kind of drive-by front yard gathering that we did earlier in the pandemic. You can see one another, exchange those pleasantries, keep it at a distance with masks on.
For those who choose a virtual feast, online meeting platform Zoom is waiving its 40-minute limit on free accounts on Thanksgiving Day and expanding the time families can gather safely.
It's not a normal Thanksgiving. It wasn't a normal Halloween. It won't be a normal Hanukkah or Christmas. And 2020 won't be normal, period.
Across the country, COVID-19 hospitalizations are on the rise. Local officials in Michigan, California, Iowa, Pennsylvania, and New Jersey are among the list of states with newly implemented restrictions on the number of people allowed to gather indoors. President-elect Joe Biden is encouraging people to follow the guidelines of small gatherings and masks.
I just want to make sure that we're able to be together next Thanksgiving. Next Christmas.
Now, if you do plan to travel out of state, check the local guidelines. Many states require visitors to quarantine upon arrival. Amber Strong, Newsy, Northern Virginia.
We now know when the Pacers and the rest of the NBA will start their new season. We also know that due to the ongoing pandemic, the season will again be shorter than normal. The NBA announced that the upcoming regular season will be 72 games instead of the usual 82. The season will begin December 22nd, and there will be a new way of choosing the last two teams to qualify for the playoffs in each conference. The first half of the season will run through March 4th, with the second half running from March 11th through May 16th. Then the teams that finish in 7th through 10th place in each conference will have a short play-in tournament to determine the final two playoff seeds in the East and the West. The playoffs are scheduled to conclude in July, just before the beginning of the Summer Olympics in Tokyo. The NBA still has not said whether an All-Star game will be played at Bankers Life Fieldhouse next year, as was originally scheduled.
Well, we are continuing to ride that temperature roller coaster. At least now we're going up that temperature hill. We've got numbers that are running about 10 to 15 degrees warmer than this time last night, and I do think it will be a warmer night for us. Our temperature 43 downtown. You're still not too far away from that 50-degree mark in Lafayette, and 45 with clear skies in Bloomington. Is the south to southeast breeze that will keep temperatures a little closer to 40 instead of around 30 like we had earlier today. 40 your overnight high temperature there in Hendricks County and Danville, 39 for you in Rushville and Columbus and Kokomo, coming in the upper 30s as well. So yeah, you're still going to need that jacket in the morning, especially because we will have some breezy conditions. So while temperatures are around 40, we'll have wind chills that'll be in the 30s for us, but lots of sunshine here for our Thursday and temperatures that will quickly warm. We're into the lower 50s here by mid-morning. Lunchtime temperature at 57. Probably still not going to want to take that lunch outdoors, though. As we go into the afternoon, we'll get highs into the lower half of the 60s for us, but it does come with those winds gusting between about 40 and 50 miles per hour. With the sunshine, you'll get to 64 in Lafayette, Indianapolis, Columbus. Pretty much everywhere you look, we'll be in the lower to middle 60s tomorrow. Certainly warmer than average, not quite record territory, though, for us. And there are those winds that are going to go along with it. Even as you head out early in the morning and the kids maybe to the bus stop there, we'll have those winds gusting over 40 miles per hour, and that will continue into the afternoon. That's why we've got that wind advisory in effect, and also an elevated fire danger. We would have that really even with these gusty winds, but we'll also combine that with some lower humidity. So temperatures, they're looking pretty good here through the end of the week, and then we get to the weekend. That's where things begin to change, not only as far as temperatures, but also with some rain chances. On Saturday, we've got about a 30% chance of some wet weather there. 53 will be your high. We'll be in the middle 50s with more scattered showers as we go into Sunday. So as we look at TrueCast here, this is 7 o'clock Saturday morning. Again, I don't think we're going to see it widespread on Saturday, and it will develop as we go through the afternoon. Then on Sunday, you notice there's a little more real estate taken up here by the green on TrueCast, but it is going to be rain here with temperatures in the 50s, and we could see about 3/4 to maybe an inch of rainfall. November has been fairly dry, so that's not a bad thing for us. It just doesn't work out too well here with the upcoming weekend. So temperatures looking good. Thursday, we're at 64. We're at 62 for you on Friday with more clouds around than what we'll have on Thursday. There are those rain chances throughout the weekend, and then it does turn cooler heading into early next week. Highs are back in the 40s, at least as we start off the week. We'll get back to around 50 there on Tuesday, but also a little more active weather pattern coming our way as we'll have another chance for some rain moving in. Of course, that is just ahead of the Thanksgiving holiday. Stay with us. We've got more News at 7 coming your way.
Instagram is expanding on its guides feature. The social media platform says creators will now find it easier to find guides. It can be used to recommend favorite products, places, and posts. The feature was introduced back in May, but only available to certain users, specifically those focused on health and well-being. Guides can be found on your Instagram profile and shared via stories and direct messages.
That's guides, right? Guides with a D?
Guides, actual guys. I could use that app.
The nation's biggest retailer is teaming up with a tech company to offer huge discounts on a holiday meal. Walmart joined with Ibotta for the Thanksgiving promotion this year. According to Ibotta, customers shopping for food at Walmart online can get 100% cash back on some items. To get the deal, first people have to download Ibotta's extension and link it to their Walmart account. The extension will tally up the rebates as customers shop at walmart.com. The amount of rebate depends on the product.
Well, guys, speaking of guys, People magazine has chosen Michael B. Jordan as its sexiest man alive for 2020. The Black Panther star was revealed as the honoree on Jimmy Kimmel Live. People has been naming a sexiest man alive for the last 35 years. Jordan joked that the women in his family are proud of his award. Last year's sexiest man alive was singer John Legend. Actor Idris Elba had the honor the year before.
Well, you can't go wrong with apple pie, but apple pie Pepsi? Oh, the company announced a limited edition apple pie flavored Pepsi. It tastes and smells like apple pie with a hint of cinnamon, but you can't buy it. You have to win a bottle of it by posting a picture or video of your worst baking fail on TikTok or Twitter using the hashtag Pepsi Apple Pie Challenge. 1,500 will win a 2-liter bottle of Pepsi apple pie in the company's new redesigned 2-liter bottles.
I got plenty of baking fails.
I figured.
You guys even know how to use TikTok?
Thank you. Thanks for all that confidence. All right, well, I won't be baking any pies for Thanksgiving, we'll put it that way. Temperatures the next couple of days in the 60s, more showers for the weekend.
Maybe cakes. Cakes.
Do that.
See you back here tonight at 11.